Hi, this is Jen. I'm going to talk you through trimming HRTs for the Safety Dance pattern, particularly with a rectangular shaped ruler. Here is one of my HRT blocks, and here's the ruler I'm going to be using. So I'm going to be trimming these blocks to 3.5 inches wide, and where you see my finger tracing up there, to 8 inches tall. And you can see on my ruler here I have marked dots 1/4 inch in from each of those corners of that 3.5 by 8 inch block. And I'm going to use those to aid me in trimming these properly. So clearly this block needs some trimming. You can see that big old dog ear there. There's my diagonal. I'm going to bring my ruler on top of the block, and I'm going to start the process of lining it up so that the dots are along the diagonal seam, and also that I have fabric underneath the entirety of the 3.5 by 8 inches that I need that block to be. So I don't want my ruler hanging out over empty space. So here I've got that bottom dot on the seam, and then I have fabric under my ruler. Here's my top dot, and it looks like that corner is good. I'm going to have excess fabric beyond that 3.5 inches. So here I'm just going to trim the right and bottom edges. And then I've got a little bit of extra. You can see the seam doesn't go all the way into the corner. That's what we want. And then I've rotated it 180 degrees. Now that left side and top side have just been trimmed. They're good. I don't need to trim them anymore. So really now I'm just lining up the 3.5 inches on the left with that edge of the gray edge of the block there, 8 inches on the top, and then really it should just be minor nudging at this point to get those dots on the diagonal seam. So there, the bottom side, I need just a little smidge of a shift, just barely. And I've got fabric underneath my ruler where I'm going to cut, so I'm not going to have any unpleasant surprises. And then I'll trim the right and the bottom. And I have a 3.5 by 8 inch block with a diagonal seam going downhill there. And you can see I've got a little extra in each of the corners there. Happy sewing!